I want to find the best AI content writer that ideally can write all my content for my blog, for my brand new website, with as little editing as possible and without having to spend a fortune on each article. So the question is this even possible, and how will this content actually rank? So to test this out, I've found 4 very similar low volume, low competition keywords that I'd like to target with my brand new marketing site for my affordable SEO data tool, clicks.so. By the way, link to the waitlist for the post beta is in the description, and post these articles on my new blog to see which one does best. But before that, let's do a proper review of each of the tools. So because I have 4 keywords, I've picked the top 4 AI content writers. So we have Cuppa, Koala, Surfer AI, and Autoblogging. I'll be judging them on 4 main things. Number 1, the pricing per article. Number 2, the actual use of the tools. So how easy is it to create content with these tools? And number 3, and probably the most important, is the quality of the content. So how much editing do I actually have to do to the final versions of the articles produced by these tools? Now, I'm personally not trying to publish 1,000 articles a day. I mostly just want to be able to publish a few really high quality articles per week. And number 4, the last thing that we'll judge them on is how they rank, which will also be closely tied to number 3. Now, I do also quickly just want to mention zimmwriter. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to include in this video. It is currently only available for Windows. So instead of going through the hassle, setting up a virtual machine and all of that, I've decided to kind of skip that for now. But if you guys do leave a bunch of comments asking for me to review zimmwriter, I will review and add it to the next video of this mini series. So let's see if any of these tools are any good. And I'm going to start off with Cuppa. So starting off with the price, guys, we have basically the base price is at $150 a year. So that's around $12.50 a month. The cool thing about Cuppa is that you don't actually get charged per article. You instead have to add in your OpenAI API key, which makes it extremely cheap to generate articles at scale. So this is the keyword that I'm going for, is SEO one-time thing, United States, and I'm going to click fetch SERP. This is one of the things that most of these advanced AI content writers already have, right? They take info from the SERP and help you generate that article. So currently browsing the web, let's give it a second here. Okay, so now we have this menu that comes up and we basically select how we'd like to create our article, right? So a bunch of different presets here and different options that we have. I'm just going to leave it as is because ideally I'd like to generate this content with as little work as possible, but also get the highest quality output as possible. So tone of voice, I'm going to leave it as is, generate an FAQ section, and generate meta description. Now, what I could do is I could go through all these different menus and select different things that I'd like to do to curate the article even further, but I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm going to hit generate article and hit generate right here. So here's the final article, guys, 2019 words. And because I'm not getting charged on a per article basis, this actually only cost me 37 cents through my OpenAI API key. So the actual on page of it looks really solid. A lot of high quality content here. We get the frequently asked questions all the way at the bottom, and it looks like a good article. I have read through it and gone through it. So let's give this a quick score. So in terms of pricing, guys, I'm going to give this an A+. So you do have to pay that yearly plan, which comes out to around $12.50 a month, but actually generating an article is extremely cheap and probably the cheapest I've found yet. Now, in terms of the use of the actual platform, super easy, as you guys saw, really simple steps just to generate a quite in-depth article. And the quality of the content, I have gone through and read it a few times now, and there is a slight issue with repetition of some main ideas, but apart from that, guys, it's a phenomenal article that you can generate for quite cheap. So I'm going to give the quality of the content a B+. So overall, a really, really good tool. Now let's take a look at Koala here. Pricing for Koala also varies quite a lot. The issue is that you do get charged on a per word basis. So that's going to be important as we look into this right now. I do currently have the Essentials plan just to show you guys how this works, but there's a lot of different plans here, a lot of different options in terms of the actual word count that you might want to use. So to create an article inside of Koala, it's going to be a very similar process here. We're just going to go through some of these settings. So again, select the GPT version. We are getting recommended the GPT-4 Turbo, and it is telling us it's going to use 2.5 times more words than the GPT 3.5. So we're just going to leave this as is, but important to remember that we're going to be charged per word, right? So if we use the GPT-4, for example, it's going to use 5 times more words. Now, the article type and our target keyword is local SEO dead. There's a bunch more options here. So SEO optimization, I'm just going to leave everything as is. We can add internal linking, AI images. I don't need any. Article length, very important because again, because we're getting charged on a per word basis, I'm just going to leave this as default for now, but I would recommend recommend that you select a specific article length because otherwise it can go quite wild. Now, tone of voice, leave all of this. I'm going to use real-time data. I'm going to include an FAQ section and some key takeaways. Now I am going to create this article right now. So here we go. And here's the final article itself, guys. So pretty solid article. Again, that word count, I just left it as default. We have almost 3,000 words, and that has cost us basically half of our monthly $9 subscription plan based on those words, right? So if we actually take a look at this article, it's really well structured. The SEO looks really solid. There's also a bunch of external links, which is really cool. That's something that adds a bit more depth to this article. And I've actually gone through and read this article, and the quality is really, really high, guys. So to give this a quick score, guys, in terms of pricing, I'm gonna give this an A. It's a little bit more expensive than Cuppa, but still at around $4-5 per article. This is still incredibly cheap, much cheaper than a real writer. The actual process, as you guys saw, I'm gonna give it an A+ as well, super easy to use. And the quality, I'm gonna give it an A-. I'm actually surprised at how good the quality of this article was. The flow, everything looks really solid. Now, let's move on to Surfer AI. So Surfer AI is a product of Surfer SEO, pretty well-known SEO company that I've been using for a while. Let's talk about pricing first. So $19 for one article, much more expensive than these previous options, but this also should mean that the quality is also a lot higher, even though we've already seen some pretty high quality stuff. So I'm gonna add in here, how much does dental SEO cost? I'm going to create it for 1 AI credit. Okay, so once that keyword has been loaded, we then have a little menu to go through. So we select the article type, tone of voice. We can add this little boost to basically help with AI content detection. I'm just going to leave this as is, and I'm going to ignore these advanced settings, which basically just means you can select your competitors and add some extra custom knowledge. Now I'm going to create the outline here. So once that's loaded, we then have to review and customize our outline. So if there's anything else that we see that we want to change, we add in that custom knowledge here. And once it's done, we'll click Let's Write. Now, the actual content quality, once it's finished, is phenomenal. As you guys can see, the content score inside of Surfer is really solid, but I've given this article a good read, and the flow, the way the writing is set up, it's really, really good. By far the best content quality out of all the ones that I've tried so far. So let's give this a quick score. And so in terms of pricing, I'm going to give Surfer AI a B+. It is $19 per article, which is a bit more expensive than the other tools, but it's much cheaper than hiring a real person to write this content out for you. Now, in terms of the actual ease of using the platform and creating content, it is quite easy, very straightforward, but it does take some time. I actually waited around 15 to 20 minutes for this article to be finished. Again, in comparison to a real person, that's a lot less, but just comparing to these other AI tools, it is a lot faster. So in terms of how easy it is to use, I'm going to give it an A-, but the quality, I'm going to give it an A+. It's definitely worth the price, and it's worth waiting. Surfer AI is probably the best option out there right now. And the final one that I want to take a look at is Autoblogging AI. So for $49, you get 60 credits, and you can basically create 1 article per credit. Or if you want to use godlike mode, which I highly recommend, I believe it's 2 articles. It's a little bit more than $1 per article written. Now, to actually use Autoblogging, I highly recommend that you use godlike mode because it does take into account the SERP to create those articles for you. Now, let me add in my keyword here. So what is compound SEO complete guide? I'm going to leave the SERP location and the article language, key takeaways, external links, just like the other ones, and I'm going to leave this as is. Now it's going to search the SERPs. Should take a little while here. We can then select the specific competitors that we'd like to include. I'm just going to select these for now, and then I'm going to research the SERP. So now Autoblogging has found a variety of relevant keywords, some entities, the outline that I could edit. Here's what it looks like right here. Overall, it looks solid, and then I'm going to hit generate article. So here's the final article as well. So also looks pretty solid. Again, very similar in terms of the structure. So they all have SEO in mind, right headings in the right places. So they're all taking care of that. I have given this a read, and it's definitely high quality content, a lot higher quality than the other versions of auto blogging. So quick mode and pro mode. So again, I would highly recommend that you use godlike mode. So to give this a quick score in terms of pricing, I'm going to give this an A+ because again, you can create very high quality content for around $1. The cheapest is still Cuppa, which is quite impressive. So in terms of how easy it is to use Autoblogging, I'm going to give it a B+. It's kind of a mess to sign up. There's a code that you have to redeem, and it's a bit of a mess. And this honestly isn't the best UI, even when you compare to something like Surfer. Surfer is a lot more built out. But the actual quality itself, I'm going to give it an A-. Really solid stuff, very in-depth, very long content with the FAQ down here at the bottom. So really solid stuff as well. Guys, I honestly don't know which one I would pick personally. And it's honestly impressive that the content quality across all of these tools has gotten so much better. So I'm going to post all of these articles on the blog for clicks and see which ones rank best. So I'll have an update for you guys real soon, and I'll see you guys in the next next one.